Hi guys, I'm Anissa and I'm back with another video, and today I wanted to share with you my February reading plans. I have made some changes in order in terms of my goals for myself for the year. You might know that I had a couple of difficulties in January in terms of my reading, and I was feeling stressed out, and I don't know what it was. But I wanted to be able to pick out what I wanted to read rather than stay to really strict rules. But I still have a couple of things that I want to do. So it's not without any books on the TBR. This month I have 10 books on my TBR, but it's a lot less than I have had the previous months. So I still have a lot of room, and I actually selected these books because I really wanted to read them. So I don't have the same type of rules that I've had in previous months. So that hopefully will make it a little better. And some of them I'm just like, I just want to try and make progress in them. So actually only 8 of them I intend on finishing this month. And then whatever else I read is just, will just be whatever I feel like reading. So the first bit is they're stacking the series part. I still really want to read all of these series. I mentioned before that they are part of the reading that I'm really excited to get to, all of the series, even though I feel like there's something working against me, because I have, since I've started this project, noticed that Penguin has removed all of their audios from Storytel, which means that all of the Discworld books that I have intentions of reading over the next year has been removed from Storytel, and now I'll have to use credits for it, and I only have 1 credit a month. And I have 9 more books for the Discworld books on my list, as well as I have 2 newer releases that comes out that I want to get on audio, because that is the Dresden books. I'm gonna get that in audio form, no doubt. And that's the next Chronicles of St. Mary book that I want in audio form. And then I have the Coffee House mystery books. I have to get those in audio, and there are 8 of them. Now we're up to, I don't know, 16 books, and I currently have 3 credits because I haven't used a lot over the recent months. But still, as you see, the math is going to be difficult. So I'm really pissed off with Penguin for doing this, because it will definitely put a challenge on me actually completing this challenge I've set for myself that I'm really excited about. So yeah, I'm not amused. That is what I'm thinking. The 4 books that I have on my list this month are the following. The first one is Murder on Waverly Place by Victoria Thompson, the 11th book in the Gaslight Mystery series. This one I have to read an ebook because I don't have access to an audio, so I'll get the ebook of that later. And then I have Murder Most Frothy by Cleo, Coyle, the 4th book in the Coffee House mystery. I'll get this from Audible. Then I have Widow's Web by Jennifer Estep, the 7th book in the Elemental Assassin series, and I'm really looking forward to getting back to this series. I haven't read from it in 2 years or 3 years, and I really enjoyed the most recent one in that book. So I'm really excited about getting back to that. And the fourth and final book I have to read for the Stacking the Series challenge in February is From Dead to Worse by Charlaine Harris. This is book 8 in the Suki Stackhouse series. So yeah, because I want to make progress on my TBR unwrappings, this month I have quite a few physical books that I need to read. So I decided to go with the ones that I can get on access on audio, some of the ones. And one of them is Lethal White by Robert Galbraith, the 4th and most recent book in the Cormoran Strike series. So I'll definitely be reading this one. This will make me catch up to the series as well. So I'm excited about that. And I'm very interested in seeing where this one will go. Then I have Gullstruck Island by Frances Hardinge. This is a standalone book. It is also one I can access on audio, and I'm looking forward to trying out something else by Frances Hardinge. I've only read The Lie Tree, and while that didn't wow me completely, there definitely left enough of me to be intrigued with other books by the author as well. Another book that I am working on at the moment, and I hope that I will finish it over February, is Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell. I am currently on page 183, so I have about 600 pages left of this. I think it's $5.99 I have left of the book, which is difficult, but it is a book that the writing is very different, and so you read it pretty slowly because you want to comprehend everything, and it's a slow moving story. It takes its time to get on with the plot, but I'm enjoying it. I'm looking forward to meeting Jonathan Strange, which I think will happen soon, when Mr. Norrell is a bit of a, I don't know what to call it. He's not the favorite character. So far the favorite character has been Chaldermas. I think that's how you say it. He has some really sarcastic quotes in here that I really enjoy, and so I'm looking forward to see how that character is going to develop over the book. And I've decided this year a project that I didn't make room for in my goals, but I personally just have wanted to try and fit into my reading since forever, is that I want to try and reread some of my favorite books. And just see if they hold up still, and see if I still enjoy them or if I get something else out of them. And the first one I wanted to reread is Harry Potter. So the first book is Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. So I'm looking forward to try and reread this one in this month. I'm happy it's also a pretty short book, so it will be nice to have this alongside the longer Jonathan Strange. But I'm definitely looking forward to reading this. And I haven't reread this in years. So that's, I think last time I reread this was in 2015. And my reread back then, I only got to book 4. And I actually intended to get to book 5 because I've only read that one once, but I kind of wanted to just reread all of them now. So I'm going to read one book a month for this. I think I'm going to read from the same series, but maybe I'll mix it up with another favorite series of mine so that I can change it up a little bit. But I'm looking forward to reading it nonetheless. Actually, I say that I've only had these 8 books on my TBR, but I still want to do something with the TBR jar that I made. I don't have much room for physical books, but I do have a lot of room for audios. So I want to try and pick 3, like 2 orange and 1 green. The green one is a continuation of a series. And see if not one of them is an audio and which one I'm most excited to read. So I have just picked 3 random ones, and let's see what will happen. If one of them is definitely not gonna happen, I'm just gonna throw it back in the jar. If none of them fits, we'll see what happens. I haven't touched the one I picked in January, but yeah, the first one is Frigate by Jennifer L. Armentrout, and that's an ebook, so I don't think this is gonna happen this month. I don't really have room for it. The second one could be a possibility. It is The Thief by Megan Whalen Turner. I'll have to look and see if it's part of the Penguin books, because then it will have been removed. But I hope it's not. So I'll check it out and see if I can't get to this one. It might definitely be a possibility. The green one is the next in a series, and that's going to be a Black Dagger Brotherhood book, and that I don't think I have access to any of the audiobooks, so that is a no as well. I think that's what I'm going to do every month. I'm going to pick a couple and decide which one I'm most in the mood for, just so as not to put too much pressure on myself. So yeah, I'm gonna write that in my TBR. And I just checked it out. It is still on Storytel, so I'll definitely try and fit that in. It is 7 hours long, so it's not even that big of a book, but I hope I'm gonna love it because I have heard excellent things about the book from different people. So those are my physical books, books on my TBR that I want to finish in February. I have 2 books that I like to make some progress on if I have time by the end of the month. And that is, the first one is The Talisman by Stephen King. I still haven't made much progress on this one, but I have read the first 3 chapters. But I want to try and work on this when I finished Jonathan Strange, sort of. I want to try and start it again. And I also have The Hero of Ages by Sanderson, where I have half of the book left, and I will try and fit that in. I'm excited to get to the books that I have on my definite TBR. I have a lot of books in my mind with audiobooks, because I don't have a lot of audiobooks on this one, that I have put down for suggestions, and I'm excited about them, but I haven't put them on an official TBR thing, so I can definitely work my way into some mood reading. But some of the things that I'm considering is Thinner by Stephen King, just to get moving with my Stephen King project. Another one I've been wanting to read, and I actually almost started in January, was This Is How You Lose the Time War by Max Gladstone, and I think there's one more writing that one, which has been talked a lot about recently, but I've also wanted to read it ever since I heard about it. And it's a short audio of only about 3 hours, so I could fit it into my reading quite easily. And another one is European Travels for the Monstrous Gentlewomen by Theodora Goss, which is the second book in the Athena Club thing. I think that's what it's called. I forgot what the name of the series, but I read the first one and gave it 4.5 stars last year, and I really want to get back to that one, and I have access to it on Storytel, and yeah. So I'm excited about that. Another thing that I would love to get to, but I think I'll postpone that to March, is that I have sort of been working on a new project. I know I have a lot of projects going and I shouldn't be doing this, but this is something that is exciting me, and because I've really wanted to tackle classics in some way or form. And the way I always do these things is by making up lists with things. And currently I have 49 classics, so I'm gonna try and see if I can't find one more classic to add, just to have a round number. And then I'll be reading 1 classic a month, so it's not a really big obstacle, and I can read all of them in audio, almost with the exception of maybe it's closer to 5 or 6 of the books that I can't get in audio form. But honestly, they are all in the shorter amount of pages, so it's not that big of a challenge. So yeah, but the thing I'm unsure about right now is how I'm going to tackle it, whether I will actually get it, which order I'll read them in, if I'm just going to read them in the order that I have put them on the list, or if I'm going to read them in some sort of chronological order. What I've been thinking about is I could read it in the order, I have a couple of books I've already acquired, so I could start out with those, obviously. Or I could read from oldest to newest released, so that I could go back and start out with Shakespeare, which is in the 1500s, and work myself well up to the modern classics in the 1950s that I have on this list. So it's a mix of things. I think I have about between 5 and 10 of the books that are modern classics, so published around the 50s, and the rest of them are considered classics from the 20s or longer away, older. So I don't know but I could also go on the other way, so starting out with the newest of the classics and then get used to the language and work my way backwards. Maybe that will be easier for me to get to terms with the writing style, with the language, with what's going on and all of that. So let me know in the comments down below if you have any suggestions about that, if you've ever tried to tackle the classics, and if you have some tips in order for it to work best. I've read Jane Eyre, which I enjoyed a lot. I thought I read all of Little Women, but it turned out that the audio that I was listening to was an abridged version, so I don't have all of it. And so when people talk about that book, I'm like, wait, when did that happen? And it's part of the book that I didn't get to. So I definitely want to reread that one. It's part of this. But yeah, so I do enjoy classics, but I do find the language difficult. But I think it's going to help me because I'll both be having a physical copy of it, but it will be I'll buy a used copy because if I need to get all of these books, I don't want it to be too expensive. So where I can, I'll get a used copy. And then I will try and collect as many in the same edition so it doesn't look like a mismatch of things. So the things that I'm going to try and get my hands on are the Penguin English Library, like these. I have one of them, and I have bought a couple more that I found used because I like the size of the font. It's not too small, and I like the papery feel of it. Or the black Penguin Classics, because they are the same amount of pages. They are the same, almost the same size, just with a different style. So for that reason, I decided to go with either this or the Black Classics. And with the Shakespeare ones, I'm going to try and get my hands on these because I think I like how the font size. But I also have the Penguin Popular Classics. I know these are also popular editions, but I think I prefer this one to this, so I might get the other ones. I don't have a lot of Shakespeare's on my list. I have a couple that I only have in ebook form because they are not easy to get access of a physical copy. And then I have a couple that are like those mini Penguin Little Black Classics or whatever they're called, so because they are so tiny. So yeah, those are my plans. It's a bit of a messy thing, but I'm excited to get working on it. But I definitely would like to hear your suggestions on how to tackle it. If we work backwards, obviously there's a couple that's part of a series. I'll read them in order because I can't not. But otherwise, I will work my way backward. I think that's what I'm going to go with. But if you have some other suggestions, then definitely let me know. This is going to be fun, but I will have an audio and I'll have a physical copy alongside, so I can... The reason I want a used copy is because I want to be able to underline and mark my way through it, so I can better comprehend the story and listen to the audiobooks at the same time, so that it will narrate the story for me, because I wouldn't be able to read it very fast. And that will remove some of the pressure on me. So that is the thought, the thing I might do. And I'm looking forward to it, obviously. And I have found these books with the help of YouTube recommendations. Like I have a couple of them that are recommended by sort of offhandedly by Giselle Bradley, because she reads a lot of classics, and a couple that I got from Rare from the Book Finish recently, I added them. But otherwise, Mara from Books Like Whoa, she has a video about a long video about where to start with classics, where she's talking about all different genres in the classics. So maybe there are different type of formats you enjoy, different time periods, different themes, and she is really good at explaining. It depends a lot on what you're looking for. I very much want to read as big a variety of things. So I thought that was a good one, and I added almost all of them to my list. So she definitely, I think, recommended like 25 or 30 of these to me. I don't know how many there was in that video. And then I watched a couple of other YouTubers whose channel names I have forgotten because it's not ones that I'm subscribed to. But I looked at them and they recommended a couple of things, and I added those as well if they hadn't been mentioned already in one of the other videos that I had added. And then I added the ones that I already own. So like, even though this wasn't mentioned, I have this one on my list. Even though Midsummer Night's Dream wasn't mentioned, I have that on my list. Even though these two books weren't mentioned, I have them on my list because I own them. And a couple of Kurt Vonnegut books that I wasn't mentioned either, but I own them on Kindle or a physical copy of them. So, and also some Dorothy L. Sayers books because I have them on Kindle. So like those type of books. And yeah, this turned out longer than I expected it to be, so I'm sorry, but it's because I'm excited about this project, but I don't think I'll start it until next month. And next month I'm going to be starting in on the BookTube SFF Awards as well, so that is going to be exciting. But I'm happy I have a couple of this month to work on some of the things that I really, really want to read. I don't think I have any of the brand new releases on my list this month because Hollow Pucks was supposed to be out this month, but that has been postponed to August. And Agency that I wanted to read, I don't want to purchase it with I was thinking about getting on Kindle, but it's really expensive at the moment, so maybe I will try and see if I can get it from a sale later on in the year, or otherwise I'll buy a physical copy of it, but it will be later. In March there's going to be a couple of new releases, so I hope that I'll get to at least some of them at that point. But yeah, let me know in the comments down below what plans you have for February. Have you read any of the books that I'm reading, and what are your thoughts about what are you most excited about reading in February? I'm excited to get back to some of my favorites again. I haven't been doing rereads in a long time, and adding one reread a month is not a lot, and I'll still get to a lot of brand new books that I haven't read before. So I thought it was a good compromise, and I decided every time, with the exception of the Stacking the Series books, I look at my shelves and look at what I want to read and what fits into sort of my own goals, and work my way with that. And hopefully in further months I'll be able to add some of the physical TBR unwrappings to my list, because I definitely think that I'll be able to once I get through some of these. But this month I already had a couple of physical books that I needed to read, so I wanted to postpone that until later. But yeah, this is all I have for today. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next video very soon. Goodbye.